glad you're here. You just caught me doing some investigation work to figure out who's behind the manipulation of the sorcery market. I have on good authority that the same folks, or some of the same folks, that are saying the whole market's crashing are pouring tens of thousands into buying other people's dumped collections. So who's behind all this, and what could they be gaining? So we have our list of characters up here. We have, obviously the beta reprint, and we have Simon and the beta reprint, right? And that's important. That goes back to Kevin. It was done on Kevin's podcast. We have the recent Kaladesh banning, right? The Kaladesh banning could be an important piece of information. We got Eric and P Stones, and obviously me over here trying to get the P Stones. And interesting, but Kevin's the moderator of my Discord. All right, Kevin's also the moderator of Shard Bugs, so I'm trying to think, like, how could all these things be connected? And I put it all together, and I started doing some research, guys. And I'm starting to think that the mastermind, is somebody that would say things like this. I did nothing. I handed a man a microphone, and he spoke. Just had to ask the right questions. He might even say something like, prices are falling just in time for me to do some Black Friday shopping. That sounds like someone's trying to manipulate. All right, another one. Watch out, we might get a future catapult card that requires you to fling a die and deal damage to each unit that it lands on based on the die roll. How would this person know what kind of cards could be coming? Another message from this person: mission complete. What's the mission? And then lastly, I saw this post from this person that said, I'm here for anyone who wants to get rid of their worthless lotuses. I'll recycle them properly. Are they trying to crash the magic market next to buy them all? So I did some digging, and I rewatched Rudosaurus's video about Sorcery, right, guys? And I'm just like, I'm gonna throw some pictures up on the screen. Here's the first one, all right? Here's this guy stealing, all of these lances out of Kyle's hands here, and handing him just a rock. So like, that's kind of a despicable thing to do right there. Then this next picture you'll see up on the screen. Here, this same person is again bumping elbows with Chase, who's a leader in the sorcery community. Well, then I find this person's also, it seems to be, communicating in some regard with Eric, the founder of Sorcery. So then I thought, this is crazy. I thought I better start looking into the magic consultants around Kaladesh. Could all of this be connected? And lo and behold, I found the picture of the consultants, and look who it is. So I've come to the conclusion, and the only logical conclusion: the person who has his tentacles in everything, the person who broke the news, the person who designed all of this is Kevmo, aka Kevin. And it all adds up. I'm seeing it. So Kevmo, could be the center of the whole market manipulation going on. In my opinion, no matter who's behind the manipulation of the sorcery contested realm market, I think they're doing it to cause distress, discord amongst everybody. They're trying to get people to fight. They're trying to get collections to be dumped. They're trying to prey on this particular situation. I know there's people out there with multiple Discords accounts that are using those accounts to manipulate things. So I do want to talk about in reality, and in reality, Kevmo is an upstanding person. He's a great guy. He is the moderator of my Discord, and he, is a judge at sorcery events and such like that. So he's a great guy. He knew I was going to kind of joke with him about this. But in reality, there are a few things going on, and we'll talk today in this market update about the catalysts that could have caused some of this crashing, because this is bigger than just a beta reprint announcement. right? What you're seeing here, the anger from some of the Timmies out there, and there's a lot of Timmies. There's a lot of Timmies out there. The anger from the Timmies is really out of control. And I think the first catalyst of this moment was a couple things. First, I think it was the map pricing. I think that setting the map price for Arthurian Legends was an indicator off the bat that prices might be falling below MSRP, right? The first thing, the gut reaction that I had whenever we heard, hey, map is going to be 116, is why do we even need a map, right? What's going on? What are we expecting something to fall? And the map prevents things from getting dumped at launch and stuff like that. So there are reasons and valid reasons for having it, but that was the first thing. The second thing was, I don't know if folks started ripping boxes, but I know a lot of folks bought hundreds of boxes, maybe more than me. And one of the things early on, and this is even before Sorcery Con, anything like pre all of this, is folks started realizing that it's really hard to hit a break-even EV in an Arthurian Legends booster box. Real hard. I mean, you got to be doing levels probably that of like Cold Foil Heroes to really make sure that you're breaking even and then some. So the thing is not that anybody's flipping, right? So like I have a full foil collection I'll be revealing here in the next coming videos of Arthurian Legends. So like I'm also a very large collector. People may not even understand the size of my sorcery collection. And it is important for me to say that because when it comes to Arthurian Legends and when it comes to cracking boxes, people want to get the value back that they spent on the box, whether they want to go to market with that card and convert it back to cash and buy another box, or whether they want to trade for another card, or whether they want to, hold it for a while. And these are folks that aren't Timmies, right? So these are folks that are trying to build their collections and they just want to hold value of what they're buying. And for me, it's very similar, right? So if I have to go to the market to buy cards to finish my full foil collection, I'm placing money into those singles and sometimes lots of it, and I don't want it to go down. So if it does start going down, then I start saying, maybe I should wait. Let's wait and see how low it'll go, right? And I think that's the first catalyst. So the first catalyst was that. Second catalyst was coming into the beta reprint announcement. Some folks already kind of felt slighted about the beta reprints, right, in general. And then there's all this beta out there right now, and, some stores are kind of unloading it, things like that, where the announcement happened while we still have product. And that kind of caused the second layer of issues, where first it's, set 3, value-wise, the EV is not holding like it did in alpha beta. So that's the first shaky piece. Next one is, now the value in beta is going to drop too, right? So that's the next piece. And then I think the third catalyst here, and this is kind of an external catalyst, is the positive markets of crypto and magic, right? Because sorcery brings in a lot of magic folks. So what I have started to see personally is people have been selling sorcery cards to buy Magic Foundations cards. That's what I've been finding. Arguably, sorcery cards, and especially alpha, may have been too high to begin with. I think $10,000 for a foil P-Stone. So that means, let's say there's 248 alpha foil P-Stones in existence at a secondary market value of $10,000 a piece. You're looking at 2,480,000 in P-Stones in the market. Like, are there 248 people that can all drop $10,000 to buy an alpha P-Stone? I don't know. And, I think if we start to say, does it make sense for alpha to be a 10x multiplier of beta? I don't know. Maybe the right number is more like 5x, where it's more like, 4,000 to 5,000 is the right number. But you start to see these people now that are saying, "Oh, alpha's crashing. There's auctions for 2,700 for a piece stone." Well, it's like you're gonna have like your really low spike dips when you're in a down market, and that's perfectly normal. There's nothing abnormal about that. And somebody will say, "Well, if it's greater than a 50% crash, 50% decline, then it's not a normal market anymore." And it's like, yeah, but the problem is there's only 248 of these cards in existence. You don't have a good sample size. It's not like these cards are changing hands every day and there's a lot of sales and secondary market, we'll call, value built up in the market for that card. I mean, you might have a sale every couple weeks of one of these cards, and you just don't have enough sales or data to say what is a 50% crash and what's not. Right. And that's my biggest argument in this whole alpha thing is we don't have a lot of alpha foil unique data to say what's a crash, what's not a crash. Please keep that in mind, because it's not like you're in a Lord of the Rings environment where there's hundreds of thousands of collector boxes, and one day they're $2,000 a box, and the next day they're $500 a box. That would be a crash, because you have a lot still on the marketplace, you have a lot of sales at the $2,000 mark, and you have a lot of work that would need to happen to get it to crash to that type of a level. So in summary here, those are the catalysts I think that cause this. But lastly, I think one wild card is going on, and I think we are seeing a few nefarious manipulators out there. And all I can do in closing today is warn you not to listen to these nefarious folks, right? They're going to use these certain tactics saying that sorcery is collapsing. Why don't you sell your collection? Don't do it. Don't listen to these folks that are trying to prey on the fear and things like that of what's going on, and calling sorcery MetaZoo 2 or anything like sorcery is completely not MetaZoo at all. Like, if you think of MetaZoo and the basis of it, the art itself, let's start at the foundation of the art, let alone the gameplay. But let's start at the art. Like, there's no, it's not even close. Like, it's not even in the same genre of things. Like, it's just not. So don't fall for the manipulators out there that have, in some cases, multiple accounts that are arguing with themselves to try to stir the market and stir the pot of the drama and make everybody upset and such. So I see, again, nothing wrong with the health of things. I am not particularly concerned with a beta reprint at all. All the data that I showed in the last week's market update says to me that beta is healthy, it has a positive EV even still, and it can probably be printed until it's a break-even EV. There's still dollars to go until it's break-even, and that's just honest. It can probably withstand a small reprint and still be at MSRP and at EV. Arthurian Legends, though, not the case. Arthurian Legends, not the case. We're not seeing the volume of sales. If you go out there into TCG Player and, I don't know, just look at King Arthur foils, you're going to see 3 sales in a month in the King Arthur foils. So the prices are high, but again, it's kind of like an alpha scenario where you have a lower velocity. So if you're, trying to understand that true value of where we're at with Arthurian Legends, is probably lower, because, in order to get more sales, the prices need to fall. So, and that would put us way under MSRP from an EV for, Arthurian Legends. So I don't think that Arthurian Legends is of health yet to be reprinted. I don't. I think whatever's out there in the market is good. That beta, on the other hand, I don't see why not. And you're talking to somebody that has a very, very massive beta collection, in the tens of thousands. Maybe my beta collection these days is worth 40,000. Maybe at one point it was 65, 70. But to me, I mean, I got a foil pea stone hanging on the wall right there. To me, it's not about what it is today. It's what it will be in 5 years, in 7 years, in a longer time frame. Now, I'm not trying, I just enjoy the cards. I enjoy the curios. I enjoy collecting them. I'm not here to make a quick flip. And quite honestly, I'm going to say it, I think it's a good thing that some of these flippers and Timmies are leaving Sorcery. I'm gonna say it. Now, I figured I'd show you guys while we're here. I did get my stock in today. I was probably person number 2 that placed an order for these. No, I didn't buy a million. Probably should have. Got my Atlas binder. We got some sleeves over here. I already had a hoodie from the iron price that I paid for the hoodie. You guys don't know the iron price. The iron price is the pooling price, not the gold price. The gold is if you buy it. You got to pull that dust. You gotta play for that dust. So hope you enjoyed the fun conversation here today. And again, I see nothing wrong with the health of Sorcery. I will be watching closely for Arthurian Legends reprints, though. Arthurian Legends reprint to me would be a much more negative sign than beta. And to close, I do think it would be really great if we heard some sort of pact with, the Sorcery and the consumer where, hey, we can reprint up until 2 sets past its release, and then that's it. So that means beta could be reprinted until the set next year. And that means Arthurian Legends could be reprinted until the set following the next set next year. I think that's a very fair thing to do. I think that's a strong expectation for the marketplace that people can plan around. They can say, okay, well, I have 2 years to collect, so I can kind of go at a more slow pace. But for beta, people didn't know. So people like me and others were trying to rush to finish collections because we kind of expected that not to be the case, especially from what we saw with Alpha, where Alpha came out, that was it. There was no more, no talk of more, and the thought process with beta. I think the consensus, whether or not it was true to believe this or not, was just that's it. There's not going to be all these reprints and things like that. So I do think that setting the expectation of what reprints will look like and can look like, and when a set retires, and what the boundaries are of certain things would be very healthy for collectors, for players, for everybody. So thanks again, everybody. We'll talk to you later.